right there. You had to ask. I have never had to stop and ask myself whether something was right. I knew it was right. Really. I knew it was right. I didn't even have to think about it. I acted from instinct. Our instinct is right. If you have to stop and think about it and say, is this right or if it's wrong? Trust me, folks, it's wrong. It's wrong. You shouldn't do it. That's the test I use. If I had to think about it, it was the wrong thing to do. Here's my other test in life. Whether something's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. What I want my mama to see me doing it. I'll disrespect myself, and have many times. I won't disrespect my mama. I just won't do it. My mama earned that respect from me. She earned it. How did she earn it? I've thought about it. How did she earn it? She loved me more than anybody else on the planet. That was never a question. And she kicked my butt harder than anybody else on the planet. She would never let me by with anything. She was that person that I've talked about. Right there saying, Larry, you can do better than that. You can do better. I expect more from you than that. When I was writing my last book, I was in trouble, folks. I got a short deadline. Short deadline. Too many pages and not enough days. And I was sweating it hard. Called my mama. She said, Larry, you sound down. You really do. You don't sound so good. I said, Mama, I'm in trouble on this one. I mean, I got a short deadline. A publisher needs this book. I don't have enough days. I don't think I can get it done. She said, you shut up talking like that right now. You can get it done. You always get it done. You're my son. You'll get it done. You know what? I got it done. We don't have parents today that earn that kind of respect. We say we want our kids to respect us. We're not respectable. Really. We have kids who are full of disrespect. And you know what? As I look at their parents, I don't blame them. Really, I don't. I get it. I wouldn't respect them either. Isn't that right? You got to be a respectable human being. We've got bosses, and I work with all these companies, and they say, my employees don't respect me. You're not a respectable manager. That's true. You think you're going to get respect just because you're the boss? No. What made you special? Nothing. You earn respect. Isn't that right? By the way, this just kind of popped in my head. We talked about that special. One of the things I'm writing that I just wrote for the new book on stupid kids, I said, stop telling your kids they're special. Really. They're special to you because they're yours. I mean, all they had to do was be born to be special to you. Really, they didn't earn that at all. But the minute they step out your door, they're going to find out real quickly there's nothing special about them. You better teach them how to be good, how to be people of honesty and integrity, how to work hard. But Daddy, no, shut up. You took the job. You agreed to do the work. Do the work. Isn't that right? You're not special. You're special to me, honey. I love you. I'm your daddy. You're my little princess. But out there, you're just another employee making minimum wage, fill the coffee cup and say, do you want fries with that? Isn't that right? Come on, folks. None of this stuff is all that hard. So, that's sort of my philosophy of success in several different areas. I'm going to be willing right now to take some questions. I'm sure when you ask me a question, I'll get off on a rant. Anybody got a question in their mind they'd like to ask? Step right over there to that microphone, ask that question, and be prepared for whatever I might say.
First, I would like to thank you for your refreshness.
Okay.
A why is very important.
Yep.
As you go in the morning. Thank you. What do you do, physically, mentally, whatever, when that why is still not, for that particular day, it's not good enough to get you going, get you motivated, get you strength, get you whatever? Is there something that you do?
For all of those who didn't hear that, he said, what do you do when you wake up in the morning and that why is just not strong enough to get you motivated and keep you going throughout the day? I recently got and you can sit back down and I'll answer your question. Thank him. Everybody give him a little round of applause for asking the question. Takes a lot of guts to step up and be first. I appreciate it. I got a letter the other day from a guy who said, I've lost my motivation, Larry. I have. I've got a house and I got two kids and a wife and I got a dog, and somehow I've just lost my motivation. I get up in the morning and I go, I don't know what to do. And I go, what an idiot you are. First of all, you got a house. A lot of people don't have houses and they're losing their houses. That alone ought to be motivation. You got a wife. You got a wife. You got 2 kids. I call that motivation. You got a dog. Do it for the dog. How can you write me of all people? Larry, you wrote me and say you don't have any motivation? Come on. So, very nicely, let me say, I don't care whether you're motivated. Really, you're going to have days you don't feel like doing anything. You don't. You go, I'm not motivated today. I'm not pumped up. I'm not fired up. I just can't get it going. I don't care. Stop thinking about how motivated you are and stop thinking about you have obligations. I work because I said I would do it. I have one overriding rule for life and business. This is my one, and you want to write this down, you can write this down. I notice a lot of you taking notes. This is it. It's Larry's #1 rule for life and business. Do what you said you would do, when you said you would do it, the way you said you would do it. Period. Do what you said you would do, when you said you would do it, the way you said you would do it. It stops right there. That's what you've got. That's called your word. It's called living with integrity. It's called taking responsibility for your actions. Why do I do it? I said I would do it. When do I do it? When I said I would do it. How do I do it? Exactly the way I said I would do it. That's what your employee wants from you. That's what your employers want from you. That's all any customer ever wants from anybody. That's all your husband wants, your spouse wants, your significant other wants. That's all your kids want from you as a parent. That's all you want from your kids. You want them to do what they said they would do, when they said they would do it, the way they said they would do it. Period. Stop right there. Life's over. Game over. You'll have a wonderful life, I promise. Isn't that it? So I never worried about whether I'm motivated or not. I don't care. I said I would do it. And I never offer myself an excuse. I don't care whether I feel good that day or not. I said I'd do it. I'll do it. Sometimes it costs me money to do it. Sometimes I have to be embarrassed and humiliated and eat some words. Sometimes I got to work harder. I'm not in the mood to do it at all. I still got to do it. I said I would. Next question. Anybody? Step right up there. Ask it.
Okay, Larry, I've listened to everything you've said.
Good.
I'm a grandmother and I have a child.
Yep.
Not a child, he's 30 years old. When and how do I say to him, no?
Okay.
I think that if I
just open your mouth and say no.
I think that if I said no, I'd have more money to invest to get to where I'm going. So at what point do you say no and mean no? And
you said he was 30 years old?
No.
You said he was 30 years old?
Yes.
You're 12 years too late. Listen, I appreciate the position you're in. I really do. And I get a lot of letters like that from people saying, how do I tell my kids no? You just say it. No, I'm cutting you off. You're a grown man. A grown man. I don't care what problems you got. You want me to show you real problems? Get in the car with me. Let's take a drive. I'll show you people with real problems. Let's go to the hospital. Let me walk you through a ward of people with real problems. You know, I don't care what you're going through. Really, I don't care. There's always somebody worse. And people, you know why people do what they do in life? You know, I said a while ago, you change because you can. People get by with what they get by with in life because they can. And the reason they can is we let them. We foster mediocrity in people, because we're willing to accept lousy behavior. And the people we're most willing to accept lousy behavior from is our kids. And we do it in the name of love. And I call it child abuse. I shot a television show with a lady, said, well, let me tell you what I believe, Larry, and this is what my daddy taught me. As long as I'm wearing a Rolex, driving a Mercedes, and wearing the best clothes in town, it doesn't matter how much money I've got or who I've stiffed on the bills or any of the things that goes on at home. I look good. What do you have to say to that? And I said, your daddy abused you as a child. He taught you stupid stuff. That's wrong information, and he ought to be ashamed, and he ought to be held accountable. However, you're a grown person. You should have figured this stuff out along the way. But my daddy loved me. I guess we got to see if that's really true or not. Because she was facing bankruptcy. She was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And she thought that was important. That stuff's not important. Come on. We do what we do out of love for our kids, and we're not loving our kids when we let them get by with that stuff. You love your kids when you teach them right. You teach them they can earn their own way. My kids are here with me today. I got a son, 25 years old. He's a fashion designer in Los Angeles, doing real well. I'm really proud of him. My other son was in Iraq. He was in the Army for 8 years. He was a sniper and all that. Now he's a cop in the Phoenix Police Department. I got one son who's a fashion designer and the other who's a trained killer. Pretty much the purest aspects of my personality, though, I got to tell you. So. But I tell you what, I'm real proud of what they've become, and I got to say I'm proud of myself. They watched me when I didn't have anything, and they watched me fight back and fight hard. They were there when my wife and I circled the wagons. And if you haven't gotten to that place in your life where you circle the wagon and say, I don't care about the rest of the world, we are a united front against whatever comes our way. Amen. And we will do this, and it won't be easy. We're going to suck it up and make it happen. And they were there and they watched that, and they watched what I had to go through. And I set high expectations. See, people live up to or they live down to the expectations you set for them, and they will go just as far as they possibly can until you stop and say, no, that's the limit. You've got to impose those limits. You impose them on yourself, your kids, your employees. You always have to impose limits. We live in a no-limit society. That's stupid and it's wrong, and we're ruining ourselves because of it. We have to impose limits. And my kids always knew that I set high expectations for myself, and I said, I will achieve this, and then I went about achieving it with no excuses. You know, I did the same for my kids. I said, set those kind of expectations for yourself. I never expected my kids to be the best. I expected them to give their best. And sometimes when they gave their best, you know, their best wasn't good enough. Everybody says, well, your best is good enough. No, sometimes it isn't. Some of you say, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to be a soccer player, Dad. I'm going to give my best. Sorry, son, you suck. Really, you're no good at this. This can't be fun to be this bad every single week. I'm miserable watching you. Stop doing this. Let's find something you are good at. So we kept trying, and with one, it took a little while. But then he discovered it. And he said, that, you know, when your kid, your son, comes to you and says, I said, what do you want for Christmas? He said, a sewing machine. I go, I gave him a sewing machine. He's done real good. He found what he loves. He found what he's good at. He works hard. The other son, my other son was a mess. I mean, really, he was a mess. He's probably sitting back there in the back somewhere. I mean, really, when he was 18 years old, he came in and he said, Dad, I am messing up. I go, yes, you are. Only he didn't use the word messing up. He was a little more explicit than I was, too. I said, you are messing up, son. He said, Dad, I'm messing up every area in my life. I'm in trouble. I go, yes, you are. And he goes, this is what I need to do, Dad. I need to join the Army. I need to fix myself. I said, let's go. Now, we weren't in a war at the time, or I might have felt different. But he walked in, and they started talking to him about all the things he could be in the Army. He said, shoot, if I'm going to join the Army, I want to shoot guns and blow stuff up. Tim, that's what the Army, man. I want to blow stuff up. You know what? He's really good at it. I mean, no, he's really good. Expert marksman, I mean, he's amazing. Handgun specialist, he's amazing. He found his thing. Took him a while to find it. Sometimes it takes us a while. But you know what? That's what people tell me all the time. They're grown men and women say, I'm still looking to find my thing. Well, you know why you're looking to find your thing? keep your job and go to work. You got commitments. You got bills to pay. Isn't that right? I got time for one more question. Anybody?
Hi, Larry. I'm happy to be here, and I thank God for this opportunity.
Thank you.
I am listening to you say, work hard, work hard. Right now, I'm in debt. I'm not going to tell you how I got there. It was situations that happened to me.
I know how you got there.
My question is, I am working hard for jobs. I have worked. I'm making minimal money. It's so menial, I don't even want to go to these jobs that I work. I walk in, I get a job. I started working for a company. I bought the company. It's a gas additive business. I took off yesterday. I decided to do it full-time yesterday. I got so many calls, so many emails to send. Do I go back to this menial job where I'm barely making my bills, not even touching the surface, or do I focus on this business that I purchased and go from there?
All right. Thank you so much for your question. Give her a quick round of applause. I love the question, and I can't answer it. You have to answer that for yourself. Here's what I believe. And this is one of the problems I think we have right now in America in terms of money and credit and the people who have given us money. What it comes down to is this. We entered into an agreement. We made a commitment with the people. When they issued a credit card, it was very clear. We said we would make this payment to you and we would make it on this date. And that's our deal, and it's a contract, and we gave our word, and we ought to do it no matter what. I don't care whether you have to work menial jobs to do it or whether you have to work 5 jobs to do it. The point is, if you can keep working those jobs and make your payments, good for you. You're doing what it takes no matter what, whether you're happy, whether you feel good about it or not. However, if you can do something that is much better and leads you to other places, then you do that. But my bottom line is this. Can I make my payments and pay my bills? Because your number one obligation is to the money you've already spent. Not how much money you're going to make in the future. You took on that debt willingly, unwillingly. I don't know what the circumstances is, and again, I don't care. The fact is, you said you would do it, you'd make your payments, you do what it takes no matter what to make your payments. So you have to answer the question for yourself. You say, can I make enough money over here to make the payments and still stay current on my bills and be able to pay and save and invest and do all those kind of things? Or do I need to go back to the other jobs? And by the way, I appreciate the fact that you said you've had several jobs and have several jobs. I appreciate that. I got people who come to me all the time and say, well, Larry, you want me to get a second job? I want you to get 5 jobs. Is that what it takes to pay your bills? I don't care how hard you got to work. Really, the deal you made with your creditors, that's a contract. You gave your word. I attacked a person one time and I said, you have no integrity. And they said, what do you mean I have no integrity? I'm just behind on my bills. I'm telling you folks, that's where people's minds are right now. We've let people get to that extreme that they can't make the tie with not making your payments and not paying your bills. They don't even see that it ties in over here to a lack of integrity. You said you would do it, so it's inconvenient. I don't care. You said you would do it. Period. I want to wind it up with this. And I appreciate all the questions, and I really do appreciate you all hanging in here with me. I think in life, we ought to remember no matter how hard it is to work and all that sort of stuff, I think we ought to remember how much fun it ought to be too. Y'all agree with that? Yes. I do. I think we ought to have as much fun as we can every single day. Isn't that right? Yes. And I'm not talking about being silly and stupid. That's just ignorant, and sometimes it can get you hurt. I'm just saying enjoy your life as best you possibly can. I think it ought to be a good time. Don't you agree? Say you bet. Yes. And you know what? It's not that hard to have a good time. And for some people it is. I mean, I know it is for some people. Some people have a really hard time having fun. Y'all know people like that? People with no sense of humor at all. I run into people with no sense of humor. I was doing a speech in Cancun. My wife was with me. We're walking through one of the little malls. And it happened to be the little mall where all the designer stores were. So there was a Gucci store and a Fendi store, Ralph Lauren store, Tommy Hilfiger store, Guess store, just one little store right after the other. And as we're walking past all these stores, out in front of the Guess store is what we would call, now folks, I'm from Oklahoma. So this is what we call this kind of person in Oklahoma. I don't know what they call this kind of person where you are from, but in Oklahoma we would call this a big old boy. Y'all know what a big old boy looks like? Folks, this was a big old boy. He'd just been in the Guess store, bought himself a brand new Guess shirt, had the word Guess written across the front, letters about that big. He's already put his shirt on. He's standing out there in front of the store kind of like this. My wife and I walk out. I see him standing there. I look him up and down, stop in front of him and go, oh, about $375. This fella had no sense of humor. My wife said, I cannot believe you just said that to that man. I said, it said gas right there. My wife's actually a little amazed at what I do for a living. She remembers when I had a real job. And I said to her the other day, I said, honey, in your wildest dreams, do you ever believe I'd be doing this? She said, Larry, in my wildest dreams, you don't even show up. So, folks, let me tell you, if you want to have more fun in life, it's not that hard. This is all you got to do to have more fun in life. And I think this is an important principle of life, too, trying to figure out how to have more fun. Don't you agree? This is all you got to do. You got to pay attention. There's more funny stuff out there if you will just pay attention. I mean, it's everywhere. I'm doing a speech in Las Vegas, walking down the hall on the way to the meeting room. As I walked down the hall, I saw a sign on one of the doors there in the hall. Now, I was very fortunate. The sign was brand new. It came right off. The sign said, no exit. This is not an entrance. What do you call a door you can't go in or out? A wall, I guess. I was doing a couple of speeches in Canada. I had a dead day in between the speeches, so I was just killing some time. So I took a tour of one of the local wineries. As I toured the winery, I found this little sign. It used to hang in the bathroom of the winery. It said, if this bathroom needs attention, please inform the tasting room staff. I visited a friend of mine in the hospital. I'm on my way to his room, walking down the hallway of the hospital, and I see this little temporary sign taped to the wall of the hospital. The sign said, the obesity support group meeting has been moved to the cafeteria. I got my #1 favorite sign. I was doing a speech in Tennessee. Now, I like speeches that are kind of easy to get to because really I'm on the road almost every single day in a different city. This was not an easy one. I had to fly to Nashville, get in a rental car, drive across the state of Tennessee. Tennessee's a long state. And stayed all night, got up the next morning, gave the speech, driving the rental car back across the state, and I had to stop and put gas in this car. So I pulled into this little gas station in nowhere, Tennessee. And I get out and I get ready to put gas in the car, and I see that the pump's out of order. Now, it has a sign on it. But the sign doesn't say out of order. The sign doesn't say out of service. The sign doesn't say broken. The sign doesn't say not working. The sign doesn't say any of the things that you would normally associate with something being broken or not working. Instead, this sign, which I have, was taped up there with duct tape. It was written on the back of a 12-pack of Coors Light long necks. And the sign said, "Toward up." T-O-R-D, up. I like it simple. That's about as simple as you can get right there. Actually, I was a little surprised that it was toward up. Because again, I'm from Oklahoma, and in Oklahoma, you got a roll of duct tape and a 12-pack of beer, you can fix anything. I'm standing at my back door one day, getting ready to leave town on a series of speeches. My son, who was 19 at the time, turns to me and says, "Dad, I have yet to figure out why anybody would pay you to come talk to them." I said, "What a sweet thing for you to say, son." He said, I mean it, Dad. I've heard your 18 good ideas till I'm sick of them. I've heard you tell people life is simple and business is simple. And Dad, with you, life is just always so simple. Dad, I live with you. It's not how you live your life. You've complicated life like everyone else. In fact, at this point, I don't think you've got a clue. I'm the one who's got life figured out, not you. I said, well, son, obviously you've got life figured out. You're 19 years old. You just flunked out of your first semester at college. You just totaled your car and you just got fired. You're doing good. He said, I still know exactly what it takes to be successful. I said, all right, you're so smart, give it to me. He said, all right, Dad, here it is. He said, Dad, when you mess up, big deal. Just admit it, fix it, and move on. And other than that, life's a party. And you know what, folks? He's right. Not me, him. How many of y'all ever messed up before? Big deal. How many of y'all plan on messing up again? Now, somebody always says, I don't plan on it. Listen, if you don't plan on messing up, you don't ever plan on doing anything. Because if you're ever going to do anything, you're going to mess up. Isn't that right? Big deal. What he said is critical. Admit it. Now let me see, that's called taking responsibility. Most people in this whole world never get that one simple idea. If that's all I've taught my kids, I've been a pretty good daddy. Admit it, fix it, and move on. And other than that, life really is a party. It's about that long too, isn't it? We ought to have as much fun as we can every single day. Knowing that the more fun we have at who we are and what we do, the better we will be at what we do. And the better we are at what we do, the more success we will experience. The happier we will be. And certainly the more prosperous we will become. I appreciate my time. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you.